war score of 85%. And we've only got 24. This may take a while. So I'm actually going to off-screen the next bit, and I'll come back if something interesting happens. Okay, so I'm popping back in for a second because my research finished. Nothing much else is going on. But we're going to hit market structure next to help our economy get on track. And still nothing much going on with the war. We're just sieging more places. Same places, as a matter of fact. As I'm using small armies, since this is a weak nation, it's taking a significant amount of time. But it'll finish eventually. .95 on their capital. Now 96. So we lost a little conservative. And it's 39 now. So we'll move our army. Into that place. Still don't have the war score to pull it off. Our naval base is built. It's on that little island off the coast of Africa. So we can colonize there when we're able to colonize properly. There's not much of anything going on right now, so I'm going to pause the recording. Come back. Hold that thought. Temperance League. The ravages of alcohol taking a daily toll on our people, tearing away every day with newfound intensity at the moral and spiritual fabric of our national character. It becomes imperative for us to bond together in defense of public virtue, and to educate and uplift the poor and downtrodden. Gah, I can't talk today, it seems. To the virtues of temperance. For quite some time now, our country has been dealing with increases in the consumption of alcohol. Readily available and cheap distilled spirits, in combination with hard working conditions, make the poorer classes especially susceptible to this deadly poison. It comes as no surprise that a Spanish Temperance League has been formed. So we can go, what's wrong with a few drinks? Hiccup. Decrease our prestige and decrease our farming and mining efficiency, or an excellent initiative, and decrease poor strata everyday needs, increase prestige, farming and mining and efficiency, and get a tiny bit of militancy. I'm gonna go with that. It gives us something we'll need. And I'm gonna pause the recording, get back once we're higher up on the war score or something interesting happens. Okay, I'm popping back in now because elections have started in Spain. And I'm going to try and turn people jingoist because jingoism is handy if you're expanding an empire, as we're doing. So, war policy debated in local elections. Opponents and proponents of the military and armed forces are taking sides for the coming election. While militarists argue that increased tension in the world and arms races between several of the great powers are reason enough to maintain a strong Spanish military, others are less convinced and see the military expenses as excesses on the part of the government. So, we are patriots and we are going to fight for our country. I'll be back when the next pop-up gets here for the election. Here's that pop-up I mentioned. And same thing. From now on, I won't show the repeats. Okay, I'm sorry for the popping in and out, but with how dull things are right now, that's a necessity. And we've had something rather important happen in terms of the events of the historical period, so I wanted to read this one to you. On the United Kingdom, coronation of Queen Victoria. On the 28th of June 1838, Princess Alexandrina Victoria of House Hanover ascended to the throne of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland as Queen Victoria. Her reign, which would last even a few years into the 20th century, would later be remembered as the absolute zenith of the British Empire, upon which the sun never set. The last British monarch of the House of Hanover. Her ascension also marked the end of the personal union between Britain and Hanover. Today, a jubilant crowd in London has escorted the young Queen Victoria to her residence in the newly built Buckingham Palace. So yeah, new Queen of the UK. Quite a famous one too. Okay, BRB folks. And we have another pop-up for the election about militarism. The debate in Granada and the preludes to the coming election mostly concerns the military and defense policies of Spain. The state has long been a bastion of hawkish sentiments with regards to foreign policy, and this year does not seem to be an exception. It is clear that jingoistic policies will be favored in voter turnouts, but a turn in the debate could perhaps reduce the impact. Okay then, to war by jingo. Okay, and now we're on to trade in the election thingamadoodle. The intensive election campaign has reached the boiling point in Leon, Castilla, where a fierce trade policy debate pits the friends of free trade against the pals of protectionism in a rough rumble and tumble to determine the future of our nation's traders. Free traders argue that goods must be allowed to freely cross all borders, while protectionists argue that our nation's fragile industries need protection from dangerous foreign competition threatening to undo them. Which path will Spain tread as it decides on free trade or protectionism? We report, you decide. Free trade. Citizenship policy debated in Extremadura. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Two debaters are arguing heatedly in the qualmy air of the town hall. The audience sits dumbfounded as words like aliens and minorities and ethnic and cultural groups are thrown between the two. One argues that immigrants are to adopt the dominant culture of their new homeland, while his opponent believes that immigrants should retain their cultural heritage and that Spain will be strengthened by the influx of a fresh perspective. Full citizenship it is. A heated debate in Spanish West Morocco. The intensive election campaign has reached the boiling point in Spanish West Morocco, where a fierce trade policy debate pits the friends of free trade against the pals of protectionism in a rough rumble and tumble to determine the future of our nation's traders. Free traders argue that goods must be allowed to freely cross all borders, while protectionists argue that our nation's fragile industries need protection from dangerous foreign competition threatening to undo them. Which path will Spain tread as it decides on free trade or protectionism? We report, you decide. Oh, I've just read something all over again. Sorry about that, everyone. But yeah. Religious policy and state sponsorship. The renovation of a local church using public money has become a hot topic in the local election of Vasconia, Aragon. Supporters of the project argue that some government support for religion will help preserve not only faith among the people, and thus a local vanguard against the forces of revolution, while opponents argue that the state must not intervene in matters of private religiosity. Yes. Of course the church must be renovated. And we have a coalition party. You have a bunch of conservative and reactionary peoples. Another occupation is completed. They would refuse our offer despite the fact that we have required war score. I'm going to pause the recording until I've occupied the last place, or until something interesting happens. Be right back. Okay, the last occupation's just finished. So I'm going to annex Brunei now. Spanish Brunei. I do love seeing that. Now we're going to move everyone into an appropriate position. Putting those guys on hunt rebels and merging my ships. We need better life rating to colonize. And we're working on market structure now. political system updated. So, I think I've been going for a good while now. I could be wrong with all the swapping in and out, but feels like it. So I'm going to end this recording here. I'll try to avoid all that swippity swapping nonsense in the future. But we'll see. You never know. So, ending the recording here. Bye. See you. Thank you for watching my Let's Play Victoria 2 as Spain. And I'll see you next time. If you've enjoyed this, then I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe if you're interested in seeing more, and if you have any tips on how I can improve, please leave something in the comments down below. Thank you and goodbye.